welcome to the Bubba Show, the show that breaks down the walls between man and PC. We're really happy today to have Tanganyika join us because today's show is a special show and it's on the home office. This is Bubba's home office. Now, in Tanganyika, we know that they've got a lot of home offices because a lot of people in Tanganyika work from their homes instead of going into the office every day. They telecommute. Telecommuting is a real big deal that everybody's talking about these days. So I wanted to bring you into Bubba's home office and show you how Bubba telecommutes. Thanks for joining us. We really appreciate all your support, but please stop sending us the millions and millions of letters because we can't afford to, without your contributions, we cannot afford to keep opening those letters. Anyway, to get along with that, you're going to see that Bubba has several machines here in front of him. Two different computers. One of them is a very specialized machine and it's for editing information, and that is this machine here. It has a special monitor. It allows you to see a lot of information on the screen at one time. The other screen that you see is another specialized machine so that Bubba can test out some of his sounds. This one is a baby. And he can play with all the different things that he wants to play with. And he can do his work. He also has his secretary, so that whenever we go to this, here comes the secretary. Going to install this. Now, in a home office, there's a couple of things that you want to have. One is you do want to have computers, so that you can do your computing from home. These machines, they don't have to be great machines, they don't have to be expensive machines, because unless you're doing something very specialized, you have no need for something specialized. In my case, I do a lot of programming, a lot of specialized work, and so we do have a need for them. The other thing that you need is you need a headset, so that when you work on the phone, talk on the phone, you can be talking and you can be typing at the same time. Because Bubba likes to type, so we can type at the same time as we talk on the phone. Terrific, isn't it? Now, hold on a second. I'm going to take you for a little journey through all the other things that Bubba has in Bubba's office. Okay, this is a little tune that Bubba wrote for computers, and I want you all to really get into this Bubba thing that we got going on here now. Everybody, you ready now? Computers are my life. Yeah, those computers. Those computers are my life. Yeah, computer. You know I got me a computer. I got me a computer. You know I got me a computer. Yeah, I got me a computer. 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 Yeah. Thank you. That was a song called I Got Me a Computer, and it's available on CD from Bubba Records. Okay, we're now going to show you, here's a specialized screen that Bubba uses for his computing. And this one, as you can see, gives you a very, very large amount of text on the screen at one time, so that you can work with large documents and full-page documents. It's called a portrait monitor, and it's called that because it will give you the full length of a portrait-sized sheet of paper on the screen, and you can see that. Naturally, you also have your headsets, picking up accounts. We have caller ID, so we know who's calling right away, and we can answer the phone in a specialized way for them. That way, we can act just like we're one of those very large businesses. Here's another monitor, a specialized monitor, and this is running all the different applications that you might need to run, like your word processing or your spreadsheets or databases. Keep track of everyone. As we move over here, here's a hand scanner. So we can scan in any information that we might need to scan. If we need a picture or something like that to add to a document to make our work look better, here is a hand scanner for us to use. Of course, we have our mouse for each machine. Moving over here, we have a fax machine. The fax machine receives faxes, so that, once again, we can look like we have a specialized office. Now, the fax machine uses something called distinctive ring, which means for $3 a month, it can have its own line. And the only difference is that it shares a line. However, the phone rings differently, and this fax machine only answers the information that we want on the fax on that line. The other thing is that this machine, the fax machine, also is a copier. So whenever you need to copy documents, it will copy them on plain paper, so that's very helpful. We have our printer. Very nice printer indeed. So we can print out our documents and especially print out our bills, because we do want to print our bills. Coming down here, we have our network monitor, because all of these machines are networked together so that we can share information between terminals when other people are working here. I want to make sure that's possible. Below that, we have one of our test machines that runs special applications that are in development with us. And there's our fax server. Of course, one of the most important things that you can have is a uninterruptible power supply. And the reason that you want that is that if your power goes out while you're working, it can really damage your information. So you want to make sure you have some sort of what's called a UPS or uninterruptible power supply, because that way, if the power goes out, the machines will stay up long enough for the power to come back on, or for you to do what's called an orderly shutdown, and it will not damage your files that you've been working on. Okay, so, and of course all of these are presented in a very specialized rack, so that we have our machines all put together. Bubba gets serious.
Free servers are notorious for memory fragmentation, and the only way you can recoalesce the different memory pools is to down it. And then when they bring it back up, it works okay for a while. And as long as you're not using a lot of NLMs or anything out of the ordinary, it'll run fine. But if you do any special operations, then it can run out of memory.
Like what kind of special operation?
Let me think. I can't remember the different. There's like 5 different memory pools, and I know once you invoke, like you load a certain NLM, it will stay resident and it'll use up that memory even though you're no longer using that function. So that's, I'm not sure.
So you can't unload the NLM?
That's right. I mean, even when you unload it, it's still, in some cases, still using up memory. And some of the pools will return the memory, but of course in 4, that's the big improvement. It's all one big pool, although they do have domains, I guess.
So it's dynamically allocated.
That's right. And then when it's released, it gives it back, and those garbage collection routines that grab the released memory and return it for use. And then, of course, the hard drive, they're running at probably 95% of their server disk capacity, too. In fact, they get periodic error messages on that as well.
Because they have no hard disk space.
That's right.
You should have about 20% free.
Yeah, and they're down to less than 10%. And I think they probably meant to disable their error messages, otherwise they get it all the time. But they periodically come up.
Do they have mirrored disk drives?
No. They don't have duplexing, and they don't have mirroring. They just have one hard drive in there.
How big is a hard drive?
The current one, I think, is only about half a gig, 500 megabytes. The new ones will be 2 gig.
There'll be 2 of them?
No, they only have one hard drive in the server. They rely on backups, so that's not desirable either. They took the cheap way out.
And that's not mirroring the hard drive?
No. I've got to check that. All of a sudden I had this horrible thought that I didn't mirror them and they had 2 drives, but then I remembered that I asked them about adding another drive. I know I asked them about adding another host adapter, to have 2 controllers for the hard drives. So maybe they do, I don't know, I need to check that. They could mirror in that instance, but not be fully duplexed.
So it really doesn't cost that much more to put in another hard drive.
That's right. Yeah, they could afford that. So that's where we are. And when we get the Mac printing, then I'm ready to go with, the upgrade.
Well, the big problem with getting the Macs to print on the network, that's just that they won't. Everything appears right, but it just doesn't print. It's
they divide Novell divides it into a front end and a back end process, and the front end process is just getting the job to the queue, and that's what's not happening. The Macintosh sees the spooler advertises, but when you go to print a job, it can't find the Macintosh thinks it's directly connected to the printer. It's not. It's connected to the spooler. And NetWare thinks NetWare is connected to the printer, but it thinks it's talking to a NetWare entity, which is the spooler. So the spooler is kind of the intermediate point. And the front end is from the Mac to that spooler, and that's what's not happening. It's not recognizing the printer, which is a PostScript printer. So once that gets, it works in 3, doesn't work in 4, and we get that done, and we're ready to upgrade.
Trials and tribulations of network engineering.
That's right. You win a few and you lose a few, but this one will be. I'll celebrate when this one's done.
Now, when you first enter Bubba's office, you're greeted by a reception area. And in the reception area, we have a PC. As we mentioned before, this PC is networked to the other system in the main office. This PC has naturally CD-ROM, speakers, a mouse, there's a telephone, and we also have attached to it a color printer so that if we need to do any color presentations, we can do those. So now we can print out our color as well. So what I'm trying to show you is that a home office is just merely some machines that are hooked into telephones with faxes and fax boards, so that it really doesn't take a lot to have a home office. And one of the nice things is that a home office, if used exclusively for that, as Bubba's is tax deductible to the extent that it occupies your residence. Of course, I am not an accountant, so you do need to see your accountant to see if yours is tax deductible, but it can be a really interesting and worthwhile endeavor.
What? Want a cigarette?
Huh?
Joint?
Huh?
You got a cancer stick? Want some crack?
Huh?
You want some crack?
There's a vodka in Mommy's cabinet.
Hey, bro, what's up, bro?
So Mary Jane?
You want some LSD? You want some Mary Jane? You want a pound, bro? You want a pound?
Hey, want some acid? What?
I want some Mary Jane just like you.
Children ask a lot of questions, and they need help with the answers.
Okay, now I'd like to move on to my next song, which is called Computers Make Me Money. And it's a little tune I wrote back when I was going to the Bubba Society Church on Sundays. And I was doing my little organ stint over there while I was filling in, while I was trying to build up my computer practice. Here's a little something I'd like you to listen to called Computers Make Me Money. that make me the money. I got me my home office and my computers make me money, 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 yeah. I got me the computer, gonna make me some money in my home office. Yeah, get it, man, get it, Mill. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, Mill, get it. Yeah, get it, Mill. Computers make me money. Computers in the home office. Computers make me money. Computers make me money, money, money. Computers in the home office. They make corporations rich too because they don't have to give no space. Oh, the computers make you money. Get some of that money, that mean green salads. Every day I'm thinking about how much money. Instead of thinking about how good a job I should be doing. Computers make me money. Computers make me lots of money. Computers and my money gonna make me rich. Thank you. Now, why exactly do people telecommute? Well, people telecommute because it's cheaper for corporations, it's cheaper for the people, it's a better deal. All the way around, you save a 1 hour commute time each way. That's 10 hours a week in the car, driving to and from work, which we don't like to do. And in a minute, we're going to give you an idea of just what you got to do and how annoying it is to drive to work, listening to flipping stations, the whole thing. But telecommuting is really a big money saver to everybody. You can wake up in the morning, come to wherever your office is, go to work, get on the computer, get on the phone, call your clients, send out your letters, fax mail, receive faxes, voicemail, check this, do this, the whole 9 yards. And nobody's ever had to pay for office space for you to be down there. You can use part of your home. You don't have to spend that extra time driving. It's just a good deal all the way around. And that's why home offices are a good thing and telecommuting is a good thing. So, corporations out there, telecommute. And the other thing, and we're going to talk about this in just 1 minute, it saves a lot of gasoline and it saves the pollution in the air. So there's a lot of good reasons why you should telecommute. And when you telecommute, one of the things you're going to have is a home office. Here we are, driving to work, telecommuting. This is what it's all about. This is why you have a home office, so that you don't have to worry about all this. Look at all those traffic and red lights, and doing about 20 miles an hour, bumper to bumper. We got the rain going, the wipers, not a nice day. Now, is this what we're talking about? Is this what we really want to do? I mean, is this how we want our lives to be run? Instead of commuting, what you can do is have yourself your home office, as we've been talking about on the show. And this is a really good reason. Instead of commuting to work and having to drive in all the time, get yourself a home office, and then you don't have to worry about all this traffic, all this bumper-to-bumper traffic and the rain and everything, trying to fight your way to work every day, fight your way home. Instead, you can just dial in. Here we go. This is a nice sight. Back of a truck. That'll all make us real excited. Instead of seeing the backs of trucks, you can actually go right to work instead of spending that hour trying to get to work, trying to fight to work, and figure out how you're going to do it.
and being upset, being pressured and nervous and everything else. Instead, you can just go right to work at your house and get on the phone, make your calls, go down to work every once in a while and pick up, speak to people, and see what's going on.
25. I like now. I used to have to go to America, work convenience store. Now, I stay home. 25. I don't have to work. Nuclear plant anymore. I write program. 25. I stay home. I make good money. No more nuclear plant. 25. I program. Send me more work. America. Send me work. I stay home. Send me work. I stay home.
Give me a B.
B.
Give me a U.
U.
Give me a B.
Basket.
B.
Give me a B.
B.
Give me an A.
A.
What does that spell?
I can.
Now you might. Now you might want to know, what does basketball have to do? What does sports have to do with a computer? Why is Bubba doing sports? Well, Bubba, the basketball player, Mr. Slamma-Jamma, they used to call him Milk the Stilt. When you come up and they say, okay, with 7 minutes left and 8 blonde cheerleaders on a November Monday night, he has a 27% chance of kicking this field goal. Well, that idiocy comes from a computer. And the computer is substituting where they used to have good announcers that had something to say. Now they give you some inane statistics that tell you something you never really wanted to know, like on the days when Dan Marino eats Wheaties, then he throws at 27 kilometers per second, only if it's a Tuesday night and he's throwing it up there. So whenever you're watching a basketball game or a football game or soccer or something else and they come up with these like ridiculous statistics, that's where a computer comes into sports.
Thanks for watching our show on telecommuting. We hope you'll watch some more of these shows. And thanks for watching the show on telecommuting. We want to thank the people once again of Tanganyika for being with us today and joining us. We're really happy that they could be here. Once again, we want to go back over why you want to have a home office. A home office is really good because then you don't have to do what we're doing right now, which is drive to work. Instead, you just get up, get out of bed, eat your breakfast, and go on downstairs or outside or wherever your office is, and just start working. So a home office can be a really beneficial thing. You don't have to deal with the stress of traffic. You don't have to deal with the car expense. You don't have to pollute the air because you're driving your car to work. Just a million reasons why a home office is a better way of work, and telecommute is a much better thing to do. Of course, you do have jerks that don't want to let you cut over because then we have more pressure and we're fighting and we don't want to do this and we could be home right now working. So once again, thanks for joining us on the Bubba Show. We hope to see us again real soon. Yeah!
And for being on the show, we have this beautiful Bubba Show T-shirt to give you. There we go, live from the Bubba Show. Thank you, Hofo. And we'd like to thank Bolivia and Chile for joining us. These flowers were a gift from the government of Bolivia. They thought that they wanted to spruce up the show. And we're really, really happy that everybody could join us tonight. We'll be looking forward to seeing you again next week.